It's 1984. Margaret Thatcher is Prime Minister, Torvill and Dean win Olympic gold, while big hair and big phones are all the rage.
Hello.
Meanwhile on TV, the sitcom Only Fools and Horses is in production for its 4th series.
You've embarrassed me.
I've embarrassed you?
The night that they had lost somebody who was very, very dear to them.
Leonard's death not only was a terrible personal and professional loss, they were in the middle of filming and they wanted to continue, but how?
It was a huge dilemma on which the survival of the series would rest. But the sitcom's creator, John Sullivan, had a radical idea.
He said, I will write an episode about Grandad dying. And so that episode that John wrote was out of total respect for the love of an actor that he felt was family.
The 1985 episode, titled Strained Relations, would go down in sitcom history as a fitting tribute to Sir David's recently departed friend.
All right, Trig?
Yeah, I'm all right. Well...
yeah, it's all right. I know, Trig. I know, mate.
Sir David has vivid memories of the shooting of this poignant episode.
It was very moving, and I get quite emotional about it when I think about it. But Sullivan, being Sullivan, came up with one of the best jokes in that we buried Grandad's hat.
Has anyone seen my hat? It was here.
And that's just a brilliant piece of comic writing. Brilliant. And that's why we loved it so much.
Buster Merrifield. The retired bank manager had limited stage experience. He was also new to the world of TV.
Oh, my bloody head. God! Bennett, you nearly had your head caved in then, you soppy old sod.
Buster was thrown straight into the nation's favourite sitcom.
Huge long speeches, which, you know, of a man of his age, he was older than any of us, that you'd see just that awful panic of, I don't know.
Yeah, what did you say just then?
And David would always come straight in to, you know, muck about, joke, put it on him. And in that time, when all that was happening and the audience were loving it because he was being the jester, it gave Buster the time to talk to the woman with the script and just get calm and remind himself where he was, you know. So it gave him the time to settle without the audience looking at him because David had taken the limelight.
I feel like a turkey who's just caught Bernard Matthews grinning at him.
But John Sullivan's...
You know, the viewership had doubled to how it was in Series 1 and 2. 15, 16 million was a norm, peaking, of course, at the 24 million on the Christmas special in '96.
This scale of success afforded Sir David Jason and series writer John Sullivan the freedom to develop the show into territory rarely ventured into by other sitcoms at that time.
I think that was one of the lovely things that we did with the programme, and that was daring to show one's emotions, daring to be serious, if you like, in a comedy show. And it did, it worked brilliantly.
It would lead to the introduction of another new character.
Is it Derek?
Raquel.
Yes.
Del Boy's new love interest, Raquel, played by Tessa Peake-Jones.
The first time I properly met David was the first time I ever filmed with him, which was at Waterloo Station under the clock tower when he had the most enormous bouquet of flowers to give to Raquel. So I remember feeling a little bit nervous and David being very friendly and chatty.
Oh, sorry, these are for you.
We spent a long time in that scene working out the position of those flowers to be the best way of cutting off her face. That's what's amazing about David, David's attention to detail.
Oh, we shouldn't have gone to all this expense.
May we.
But the duo's most iconic scene would see Raquel give birth to their baby son, Damien.
Give me everything you got, girl! Give me some willy, girl!
Well, it's interesting because when we filmed that birth scene and that amazing bit, again, how David can flip from that broad comedy.
Would you let go of my leg, Del?
Oh, that's so sweet, huh?
To holding up the baby and talking to Mum.
Here he is, look. Your first grandchild.
That's why he's who he is. And if you talk to people, what they remember about that birth scene, actually, the public, isn't the birth. What they remember is him talking to his mum. That's extraordinary, you know, that's his gift.
Oh, you are such a lucky little boy. You really are.
The show's success catapulted Sir David Jason from talented screen actor to national treasure. But he found the demands that came with his new superstar status often difficult to handle.
That instant recognition thing can get in the way of real life. People want a piece of you sometimes, which you don't want to give. You might be right in the middle of the supermarket getting a loaf of bread and a tin of beans and a couple of eggs, and they'll say, "Can I have a selfie?" That side of the exposure is sometimes not so much fun, but then on the other side, it does open a few doors that would remain closed to most people.
And eventually we said, why? What have we done? What have we done? He went, no, I'll show you. And he did. He came out one evening, and we couldn't walk 2 steps without somebody rushing up to him and going, "Oh, Del Boy, give us a joke. Tell us a joke, tell us a joke." People used to kind of want him to be what he was on screen, and I think he felt quite ill at ease with that. He's not a stand-up comedian. He doesn't write his own material. He's an actor.
Certainly, in his early days, he used to be the life and soul of the party. These days, fame has clearly changed him, and one can understand that there are only so many times you can be approached with the words lovely jubbly in one day.
Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly. Lovely jubbly.
I'm a solo glider pilot, so I enjoy that challenge. I also took up scuba diving a few years ago for the same reason. When you get the equipment on and you go down or you go up, it's the breaking the bounce.
Night at my grand's with a cup of tea and a bit of cake. It was one of them, wasn't it?
I've never been pickled in my life.
And he was so different to every other character, and that's the thing about David. He's so fundamentally different in every single way to every single character he plays.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you put a couple of 100 young'uns in now and you could be eating pheasants until the cows come home.
He looks different, he walks differently, you know, because he's got such a distinctive look. It's bizarre how he does it.
To get things absolutely right.
Manners, early morning breeze, pardon me.
I think David was wary about how the public would receive him. Every new role was a challenge. He wasn't sure whether the viewers would take to him.
Sir David was right to be nervous.
You are a lovely man.
This was a big departure from Del Boy, and the original H.E. Bates books on which the series was based lacked narrative content.
He thought it was either going to be a massive flop or a massive hit. He plays it with gentle cheekiness. I mean, it's a comedy, but it's also a drama, and it's done with love and affection.
David obviously saw Pa Larkin and thought, this is a great character and I can make him great, and the audience will follow me and follow this story and lose themselves in this world.
They took no encouragement to peck at my legs.
All right, Charlie?
Yeah, it's fine. I was just looking.
Oh, well, always time for that.
Despite the clear chemistry between the pair on screen, Philip Franks felt an initial frost in his off-screen relationship with the star.
He was a bit suspicious of me. I'm an Oxford-educated Shakespearean, you know, and I think he'd maybe, I may be speaking out of turn here, but I think he'd had a not particularly great time with some professional colleagues who came from the same background. I think he'd felt put upon and patronised himself. I mean, it was a long time before I think any of us could really call him a friend.
But in time, the whole cast, including on-screen partner Pam Ferris, would form a lasting bond, making a series that took the nation by storm.
This is the scene with the two of them in the bath, and I think both of them were a little bit nervous of it, so there was quite a bit of sort of giggling.
Sir David Jason may have been flying high with his portrayal of the iconic Pop Larkin.
Perfect.
But behind the scenes, the actor was plotting a dramatic shift in career by launching a dour detective onto an unsuspecting British public.
I want to know who he is.